All right, on the climb story time. How to get out of a $25 million problem and any other if you can see it coming down the road. Okay, so story time on the climb as I sit here on this remarkably warm day for November. I was doing what I spend considerable amounts of time doing, always out there looking at all the marvelous opportunities there are to honestly increase one's income. I just did the video about hobos, bums, and tramps and the differences between the culture of those men, and understanding that there are also women who are neurodivergent and have to do things outside the everyday to this day. I pay attention to those things. I'm slightly outside my own society as well. So as I was looking around, I happened on a channel. And I won't mention it for reasons that I'm going to put out there. But I will say this, black women in particular. If you really want to mess your life up, and you'll see why in a minute, it is important to avoid bad black men. But if you really want to get your life into a mess you can't recover from, mess around with the wrong man of European descent, and I say European because this man is a European, and who have access to all these resources and can really foul it up. It's like, we jumped on Kanye West because he lost $1 billion in 7 days, not knowing that Sam Bankman-Fried became a Bankman-Fried and had $15 billion when we started the conversation, is now bankrupt and under supervision, about to be arrested probably, and lost about $200 billion of other people's money. The FTX collapse. Keep this in mind. The gentleman on the YouTube video I was watching had some interesting ideas. I mean, there was enough there that connected to things that I know people are doing to stuff would have worked. But the thing was, he got my hackles up because he told his listeners, as earnest and as straightforward and as step-by-step as he is, has a goal to have, 1,000 people making $10,000 a month using his methods by the end of the year. But he's not up on the prevailing United States laws. So, the cutest little baby is out here in this field with a little hi on her shirt. Hi! Hey, sweetheart. I'm so distractible. I'm so distractible by little cute ones. Anyway, the gentleman is from Slovakia, the Slovak Republic, technically. And he was out here, and I was cool with him because, he seemed earnest until, unfortunately, he told his followers to tell a lie to the platforms they were going to be getting on to do this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's just, and you think to yourself, it's just a little lie, but then it's a lie. So you're advising your people to come out here and get stuff by telling lies. As a Christian, I'm off. I'm done. That's the end right there for me. But then I'm like, okay, if you did that, then what else are you? So now I'm researching. It's what I do, y'all. Come to find out, because he doesn't understand the prevailing United States laws. Imagine, particular method, you do it, you realize, okay, if I can get someone to pay me $1,500 to do this, or even $150, and I can, be diligent, do it 6,000 times in a year. I picked that number for a reason. Who wouldn't want to make $900,000? But you can scale the number up and down. Just understand that the method that he was, recommending, every time you do it under U.S. law, you have basically a $42,000 fine. So let's say that you did it 6,000 times because, all you got to do is post stuff up in the right places and be diligent about it. You basically do it 20 times a day every month. If you get 20. Now, if you really need to change your life situation, you might do that. So that's what you have to do to make close to $1 million. The problem is 42,000 times 600 is $25 million. Now you can scale that up and down as much as you want, but I guarantee you that unless you're making $43,000 per transaction, you're going to be a little bit in a hole. All you got to do is get caught on 600 of them things. So you made $900,000, but you down $25 million because you were listening to somebody that wasn't being careful. Different video, went down to the comments. Person said, "Yeah, I got thrown off of platform X," and I'm sitting there going, over the course of a lifetime, how much is that gonna cost you? because it's illegal to actually do, it's against the policy of the website to actually do what he's talking about. Went out and represented, looked up one of the sites that he was recommending people come to. He has an affiliate relationship with them, but reviews say, yeah, but there's too many people crowding it and nobody's really paying attention because everybody's really trying to get their program represented, so it's getting crowded and this stuff doesn't work. You know how I stayed out of all that? By not getting in it. I said goodbye on the first lie. And that's what you have to do, y'all. You got to say goodbye to it on the first lie. When I walk out here, y'all notice I keep my head on a swivel. I learned that from my military veteran dad. Even though I'm making a video on camera, I'm not sitting up here. I'm having a look around at who's coming through and what their attitude is as they look back at me. I'm always a block to a block and a half on a straight road. I'm always looking around. I go around corners and I look. I came out of my house and trouble was coming down the street. Now, it may not actually have been, but just too many. Because remember, and I have to say this, in my neighborhood, remember what I've just reported to you in the last several weeks, the last several months, getting propositioned, getting catcalled. I'm a 41-year-old fat black woman. I still go through all this harassment. Not even being spoken to. People, 4 or 5 of them will come around and not think they have to say anything to me, but then they're also drunk in the middle of the day. That's been my last couple of weeks. Folks in the store doing crime because they mad they didn't pay attention and went to the deli and got stuff that's too much stuff for them to pay for, getting ready to do crimes in front of me. This is sort of my experience. So when large groups of men who seem to be going through what they're going through come together, 10 or 12 at a time, because I keep a lookout half block to a block away, I will adjust my gear and watch my body language because I'm not trying to tick anybody off and make evasive maneuvers because I don't have to be bothered. And I do this with other people. I was up on a hill, and as I was coming down the hill, about a mile and a half walk, I'd gone around it that day. And as I was coming down, I encountered a white gentleman. And the spirit said, okay, I know where you want to go do, but you're going to go across the street and keep going. I had gotten across the street and kept going. And he said, now we're letting black people come up here now. But see, I had some distance on him. If I had to, I could have scooted down, do both on him. He went up to where I was usually would sit and covered himself with his big coat and got out into the shadow. So if I had gone up there, not having seen him, this man would have been within grappling distance of me and clearly already was on one of those racist fits. But see, you don't get into it. How do you get out of a problem? You don't get into it. Arthur Conan Doyle put this in Sherlock Holmes' mouth in, I forget the name of it now, The Adventure of the Empty House, for you who want to look it up. And in the final problem, the previous story that Arthur Conan Doyle had written, Dr. Watson assumes that Sherlock Holmes and his mortal enemy, Professor Moriarty, have fallen into the Reichenbach Falls. And Watson mourns and tries to go on with his life, but he's hurt and misses his friend. Well, one good day, Sherlock Holmes eases up on him. Watson passes out. First thing he says is, how did you get out of that horrible falls? And Sherlock Holmes said, tell you, of course, it was easy for me to get out of them because I never was in them. And then talked about how he climbed the rock face back up to the top. And then goes to the Himalayas. One of the first people, if he had lived at that time, to see Mount Everest and meet the Dalai Lama, because he was never in it. And so got on with his life and came back and solved the next case and went on for another, mathematically, if Sherlock Holmes were real, then another career that goes to World War I from there. So another 20 years of his life doing what he does. Y'all want to live? Dr. Doyle and his greatest creation, Sherlock Holmes, could give you a hint on that. The way you get out of these problems that you can't get out of is to not get in them. When the people around you tell the first lie, ease on down the road. When you are dealing with an expert who tells you to do something that is a lie, ease on down the road. Do not be tricked by, well, but this could make me a lot of money, so let me go on. But this person said they love me. No, don't do that. I talked in the last video about, men who are rambling men, hobos, tramps, gigolos, and bums advising each other. Find you a large woman and get up under her to the spring. Medea. Tyler Perry talked about this in one of the books that he wrote from Medea's perspective, talking about what you want as a large woman, because she's the one that's going to keep you warm in the winter. I'm like, Tyler, you done represented the kind of black woman who gets got every time cuffing season comes along. But then again, you are actually a black man who lives selling tropes and stereotypes to black women for a living. Don't get got. Don't get got. And this is also just true in general. When people, Mother Maya told us, when people show who they are, believe them. The gentleman from the Slovak Republic, he told me who he was when he told people, thousands and hundreds, tens of thousands of people that watch him to go on and put this lie in here. And some people had followed through and went on down there and said, yeah, I got banned. This is not. I'm like, you know what? Do not recommend. Bye. That's what you got to do. Get moving. Don't stay on the scene like a stupid machine. Get gone before you get got. How not to get into a $25 million problem. How not to get banned from platforms that you need. But when you hear the first lie, when things get sketchy, when you see the problem coming down the road, don't stay there talking about, I could get this from that. No, all you're going to get is a situation you can't work your way out of. Get gone before you get got. All right, speaking of get gone, it's time for me to resume my walk on this beautiful day. Tomorrow will be another good day. I might go up on the hill tomorrow, pick some figs and some blackberries and some other things and take a nice long walk. And, we'll see what the weather is like. But days like this are rare, so it is November. Now, last year the winter was, pretty much this. But this year the rain has kind of come through here, and we've gotten some rain, and it looks like it's going to be cooler. It is cooler this year as opposed to last year. So I'll be out here when I can, but this is also one of the very few ways where the wind has been calm, and I'm also out here quite a bit earlier. The wind has been calm, so I can come through and do these outdoors, but just trying to get on to some topics that'll be helpful to you as you go through cuffing season so you don't get got. It's important that you not get got. Because unlike the hobo and the tramp, both of whom are going to avoid crime when they can, there are a lot of bums out here. And those men won't stop short of murder now. We know this. Y'all go ahead and look at the black femicide numbers. Y'all go ahead and follow those channels that keep you up on that. Do not entertain them. Don't get got. You see the first sketchy part? Run. All right. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.